Hello, hello. Welcome to the live stream. I hope you're having a nice lunch break. Some of you lunch is over, but either way, I'm glad you're here with us. Only 36 people in the live chat. Was that not enough notice? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's see. Welcome one and all. Diana Ware. Let's see. Kenneth Doug. Sherry Ware. Moderator Sherry Ware, Denise Jones, Moderator Church Nelly, Cookies and Creams, Denise Jones, Joan Garcia, Ethan's husband #1, Colleen Akbeber. Yep, I think that's it. Connie Balmer, Erica Gordima. Okay. And let's see, Debers, welcome. Annie Bullard. Let's see, Rosa Roberts, Gwendolyn Daniels, welcome. Black Queen, welcome. And moderator, Lydia Washington, welcome. Dale Beeves, welcome. Okay, I think that's good. Kenneth Doug, welcome. Teslin Dawkins. Myra V, welcome. Okay, all right, so shall we begin? I don't know where to start. Yes, I do. I'm just kidding. Well, it's red hot, isn't it? It's a hot topic all over the UK, and that is, of course, Camilla, the Queen Consort. I don't know that it's a good idea. I mean, after all, we only have Richard Palmer's words to consider from March of 2018. He said that 67% of the people was against it. This is why I have to wonder. How in the world did they convince the Queen to decree? Well, I mean, it wasn't a decree. It wasn't a royal patent. It was just part of a general statement in order to, I guess, create a smooth transition. And that's to say that the Queen's not going to live forever. And of course, we all know she will. Let's see. Welcome, Betty Glenn. And welcome, Beverly Hardy, who wants to say welcome to everyone. Let me help you out, Beverly. We'll highlight that and put that on the screen. Anyway, so I was listening to a phone call on Twitter. I won't play it for you, but I'll try. I don't know how I can forward that to you. But there was an American who had called into one of the British tabloid news podcasts or something like that. And it was so interesting because she was just like, the U.S., the States, this is Princess Diana territory. And she was just basically making it known that your emotional support, Camilla, is not really something that we're going to embrace in the United States. And I think what she said speaks for a lot of people. I mean, who hasn't, kind of had that feeling deep inside, maybe got something stuck in their craw at the idea that now they're going to try to shove this consort down our throats. That's a bitter pill to swallow, especially given the popularity of Princess Diana in the United States. Now, I've mentioned this before in another video. I'm going to say it to you again. For those of you who may not have heard me say this, hi, Marion Owens. I bet you've heard it before. Charlotte B. Au revoir. Anyway, hello, Julia Rock. Well, during the time when Diana was like at her very zenith of power and prestige, she was so warmly received here in the United States that when she went to the Northwestern University event here in Chicago, um, it was it was it was like if the Queen were coming to town, she should hope that she would receive a welcome like that. She would only hope to receive a welcome like that. There was thousands of people around Michigan Avenue at the hotel where Princess Diana was staying. There were people who like were hanging out of windows and such when she went through the campus of Northwestern. So many things that let you know that people weren't just there because it was just another British royal. They were falling over themselves to see Princess Diana. They didn't care about any of that other stuff. You know, it wasn't because of the queen, it was because of the person she had become. Princess Diana was like the biggest star on the planet at that time. And everybody had some kind of feeling about her, mostly positive. And of course, you had some of the people in Narnia who, of course, they loved the queen just the same. But I think it was unanimous that people had a greater affection for Princess Diana than anybody else in that family because she was just the most approachable person in the family. She was the one that absolutely lived up to that moniker, Queen of Hearts, because that's what she was. She was the Queen of Hearts. And so when she died, when Princess Diana died, there was like a grief that not only was felt in the UK and in the Commonwealth and such, you have no idea how that affected people here in the United States to the point where one of the moderators who rarely can make it to the live chats, Mo Shannon, she could tell you her grandmother, who is very much a Catholic, ran to her shrine of Saint Mary or Mother Mary in the backyard and and lit a candle. I mean, that's how she affected so many people. One of my best friends called me in tears. They killed her. They killed her. And I was like, "What? Who?" You know, I was coming in from a nightclub, and I I I said, "Well, let me, turn on the news so I can get caught up." And then that's where I sat for the rest of the night trying to sort this out. So that's the kind of relation that the people in the United States had with Princess Diana, and I don't know that people would be rude to the emotional support, Camilla, but certainly people are not going to be. We're not going to forget, especially some older people who remember are not going to forget, and then of course a lot of the younger people will have an opportunity to, if you like to say, for lack of a better word, to revisit a little history. A lot of younger people are going to, get a swift education in how things were at that time. Like, for instance, here, this is the famous Versace gown that Princess Diana wore when she came to Chicago to Northwestern. This was like her biggest solo visit away from the family. This is like, or should I? Oh, I didn't mean to put that up there. I'm actually trying to get rid of that thing. But this was like one of her biggest solo visits away from the family. And just look at how powerful that image is. Look at that. This is not a lot of royal protection officers. This is not, this is purely organic love for the people's princess when she made her visit to Chicago at that time. And even like People magazine at the time, People magazine wasn't, a right-wing royalist rag. People magazine was actually a byproduct of Time magazine, of the US Time magazine. They weren't hijacked at that time. And so they ran an article about the visit of Diana and, of course, her brave new life away from the family. This was like her big outing. This was like her way of asserting herself abroad. And I believe that this was her first big foreign trip, was when Princess Diana came to Chicago. Putting aside her bitter divorce, a radiant princess lights up the Windy City. I mean, this was huge. It was huge. I can't even put it into context for you, but it was huge. It was like big, very big. That's the only way I could describe it. I don't have the words for it. It was just huge. So, if any of you guys remember those days, let's see, I flew to Florida after Diana died. The people were so lovely, saying how sorry they were and hugging me. The hotel staff invited me to watch the funeral with them, which I did. Elaine, you understand. You understand. It was a big deal. And, you know, there, I don't know how they expect for this to work. I don't know how this is supposed to work out for them. They protect liars, convicts, perverts. That's the status quo for them all the time. The insulated royal bubble of the upper crust and the unholy deplorables. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they expect to sell this. I really don't. It would have been better if they would have just let it have happened at a point where there was nothing that could be said. She's the consort. Have a nice day. But this announcement, I think, is just like pouring kerosene. I remember my brother called about midnight, and when I heard my sister said she died, I knew it was Princess Diana. I saw the news earlier in the evening that she was in a car accident. I mean, sister, it was big. And I'm not saying this for the benefit of people in the United States. I want people from the UK to understand how this had an equal effect upon us, as it was in the UK. I will just go out on a limb and say it was equally as painful. And I heard the call from New York City on LBC this morning. Okay, you heard that phone call. It really triggered them when she said that their own royalty king Harry. Yes, the lady said we have a king now. Pretty much, she was saying that Prince Harry is the king, is our royal king here in the United States. People were not happy about what the Queen did. Yeah. So far, the Queen has been a very sympathetic character in so many movies about the royal family, but that's not always going to be the case. I This is like the worst of times for the Queen for several reasons, and I would say so much of that has nothing to do with Harry and Meghan. She has her sons to consider. It's not Harry and Meghan. That's not the big problem. It is an overblown, hyped up crisis for the royal family that they have created out of the Sussexes leaving. The only crisis is now they have to do some work. Now they have to do more work. Now they have to get by with mediocre Middleton and Willie Leaks. That's the big crisis. There's no crisis that Harry and Meghan are going to conduct themselves in some way that is disrespectful. That is not even in their wheelhouse. They're not looking to do anything like that. Oh, I went to London for 3 days during that time. I'd never seen so many people cry. Yeah, And I'll tell you, the part that got me is when I saw the note from Harry on top of the coffin. That's when I lost it. I lost it. Um, at first, it was just like the stunned silence of, is this really her funeral? And then when you see the the note, it was just like, I think that's when a lot of people just let go. So um yeah, it's remember like it was yesterday. I understand, Audrey. I understand. And so this is going to be a big problem for them trying to. I'll show you one more thing about Diane's visit before I go back to the emotional support, Camilla. Um, this right here, this is, you can barely read it, but that rock has a placard on it at Northwestern University to commemorate Princess Diana's visit. What was it, 1996? That was to commemorate her visit. That's how greatly they felt about it. And then even with that, the Drake Hotel, the Drake Hotel had a 20th anniversary of Princess Diana's visit, where they had decked out a part of the hotel with photos and other memorabilia from Princess Diana. And if you don't know the Drake Hotel, for Chicago, the Drake Hotel is like one of those legacy, legendary hotels. They have several of them, and the Drake happens to be one of them. And that's where Princess Diana stayed. And so there's even a hotel suite, I believe, that's dedicated to Princess Diana for that very reason. And just so you know, I believe that though maybe the one visit the Queen made to Chicago, she may have stayed at the same hotel or even in the same room. I'm not sure, but that did happen also. So let's see. But yeah, there you go. There you are right there. This is how things looked for the visit at the time. This was, I believe, her first big solo trip after the divorce. So Princess Diana was just too big for that family, and it's only way too convenient that she's not there anymore, because there's nothing for them to compete with, because now the tabloid press has reduced Princess Diana to someone who was hysterical, illogical. That's exactly what they had planned for, of course, the Duchess of Sussex, is that they were supposed to use that same playbook, not realizing that she had way too much sense to stick around and wait to be abused. Way too much sense. They did not count on the fact that Prince Harry was not going to allow it. Was not going to allow it. And even though there's other people in the family who are very comfortable with that abuse, if you guys remember, um, when Camilla was first introduced to the people as an item to Charles and that they were going to be together, Prince Charles didn't even protect her. Prince Charles has a long history of not protecting the women in his life. He has a long history of that. He didn't protect Diana. If you remember, during the courtship, Diana was left to those vultures, where she literally had to fend for herself until somebody decided, uh-oh, I think we ought to do something. Something must be done. They waited till they nearly drove her off a cliff or something like that, or pushed her into the Thames trying to chase her, before they decided she needed some protection. Why does it take so long? And so, even though I'm certainly not a fan of this person, she didn't receive any protection either. It took a while before Prince Charles paid for professional security, the kind of payment that Harry wanted to make for his family. Prince Charles actually had to arrange for protection for his emotional support, Camilla. of course, Princess Diana had some choice words for her because Princess Diana felt as though she was being latched upon by the future Queen Consort. You know, the one that we're all supposed to embrace. That's the way Princess Diana saw things. She was supposed to um, allow something that has more pounds per square inch of biting power than just about anything on four legs to latch on to her, and it was okay. But that's how things started. I mean, um, you have to remember that there was that lunch that and as the lady said on the phone call that I mentioned earlier that I don't have access to right now, um, that there was a grooming of Princess Diana for this role in that family. She was being groomed at a very young age. And so, of course, I don't know who the person was leading this conversation, but she made it sound like, well, that's the way it's always been, and that's the way it was. And the of course, the Spencer family should have been honored, and they wanted to stay close to the crown. And yeah, that would have been fine during medieval times. That would have been fine during Victorian times. But in these so called modern times, is it really okay knowing everything that we know about human behavior and the effects that it could have on someone? Is that really okay? Are we okay with that? Should we be okay with it? Apparently, yes, she's her own protection. Um, Apparently it was supposed to be okay. And the fact that Prince Charles was in his 30s and the Rottweiler was in her 30s, and this is, I want to say that she turned 19 when they got married. And I think there's 13 visits total courtship. I think she only met Prince Charles 13 times, if I remember the number. I know it was only a handful of times. This courtship started, and I want to say she was 17, was it? I don't want to get these numbers wrong, but something like that. I know she was a teenager when they met, and she was a teenager when they married. And this is someone that Louis Mountbatten wanted to sow his wild oats and all that kind of stuff. Um, eh, this is the life that was created for her, and everybody got what they wanted except for Princess Diana. She got the short end of the stick. I don't care that her father may have participated in this. Her mother wasn't there to protect her because her mother was run out the country by her father, Earl Spencer. So I don't care that this is just the way it's always been. That's what they were trying to use against the Duchess of Sussex. Well, after all, it's always been that way. Yeah, well, it doesn't work with an American, and it's not going to work with Americans of African descent. Period. That's just not going to happen. That always being is very flexible and fluid when it has to do with other people. But when it comes to the Duchess of Sussex, then of course there was no defending her. They would lie to protect other people, but wouldn't tell the truth to protect her. Isn't that what she said? They would lie to protect other people and wouldn't even tell the truth to protect me. And you know what? I'm out of here. I am out of here. That's exactly what they received in exchange. So this right here, this is another one that kind of gets me. Um, if you remember, I made that video uh, with the with the little chorus of barking, and it was because of this story. Duchess of Cornwall is unlikely to ever forgive Prince Harry and Meghan Markle for hurting Prince Charles doing that M word that I never use, sources claim. Um, All I got to say, Camilla, is do I need to go make another video? I've already done one. I'll make another. But your forgiveness is not only is it not wanted, it's completely unexpected and nobody cares. And the fact that this was not corrected by Clarence House lets you know that they leaked it out there for a reason. If even if it was just to distract for something else, that's why it was leaked. It was very deliberate. Miss September, is that right? I've written to all the women and the networks they're on. I asked them to give me the list of all the things Meghan supposedly had done, still waiting for the answer. Lily Bell Grant, that is very courageous of you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you so much for doing that. Uh, Julia Rock, a slim down monarchy, will have the tea guy riding his horse to engagement so she can support him. Now, see, you're getting ahead of things already, and I'll tell you why. I had that ready, don't you? Julia Rock, you're still in my thunder. And by the way, she's on the left side of the left photo and the right side of the right photo. So that should make it easy for you to figure out which is which. Um, oh, you guys, I knew this would be a fun topic, but Prince Charles was not man enough to stand up for the women he loved. Who knows why, but he's always wanted her. The royal family still got stuck with Camilla. That's exactly what it is. And do you guys remember there was a time when the queen the queen would not allow the emotional support Camilla to come near her. She wasn't welcome to any location where the queen was. And the way they finally got around this was I guess, king of Greece living in exile had some event that the queen was invited to. It was his birthday party. And at that event, Charles introduced his emotional support, Camilla. Well, I'm sure she's met the queen before, and she likely has met the queen before. But Camilla was invited to that occasion. And so there was no way that the queen could avoid this situation. And so I think that was somewhat of an ice breaking moment. And so the queen did not go to their wedding. And if I recall, I don't even think she went to the blessing of the event at the St. George Chapel. So they had to go to whatever that office is, that municipal office or whatever for the wedding. And then they went to the St. George's Chapel, not for a wedding, but just for a blessing. So in front of the head of the church and the queen as head of the church. Well, again, I don't recall if she showed up for that one, but as far as I know, the queen didn't want to have anything to do with it whenever possible. But somehow they have managed to coerce this 95-year-old woman into seeing things their way, which is no great surprise, I would imagine. But yeah, somehow they have won the queen over, and it's a done deal. Um, Charles will be king, and Camilla will be his consort, and they don't really care what people think, especially when people are struggling to heat their homes and such. They just don't care. For the queen announced this, then Kate better be careful because William Gloria Milton, you're absolutely right. Because a woman who has been kicked out of that family has absolutely no currency, nothing. The horse and Charlie Boy are Baldy and Skinny Girl should be the ones apologizing. They hurt Madam Duchess by not supporting all the lies that came out. Beverly McCaskill, that is absolutely bang on true. Well, hello to you, Simply Vigo. Welcome. And let's see, Ruth Lopez. I'm telling you, Chuck got this. Got his aging mom to agree to Camilla being queen in exchange for lifetime care and protection of her. Oh, Ruth Lopez, that's a good one. I didn't think about that. But you know what? That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense because, um, yeah, when the queen is gone, Charles, who never seemed to have much, um, I guess, compassion for um, Andy, will be in the driver's seat financially, and he can issue all kind of patents and stuff like that. And so, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. This guy may be in a lot of trouble when the queen is gone, and so in order to have some type of protection for him financially, then yeah, he's definitely going to have to defer to Charles. This is exactly why I'm so glad the Sussex is left, because you could not trust William with the future of the Sussex family. And as the sovereign, they would have to, you know, defer to him for a lot of things that that is necessary for the family. And old Sourpuss is just the wrong person to have in charge of the purse strings. So remember, this is the person who they allege, I didn't hear this firsthand, but they allege that he wanted Harry to wait and wait and wait before he married her, you know, like he did with his wife, to have her wait for 10 years so that in 20 years she can come up with some questions about children's minds or something like that. I don't know. It was some kind of ridiculous notion that he had. They say, don't know it firsthand, but they say that he wanted Harry to wait. You know, Harry 35, Meghan 36 or 7 at the time. Yeah, wait about 10 years to start a family. Everybody else does, even if they are in their mid to late 30s. That was, to me, some kind of ploy to make sure that they never had a family and that Harry could always be available to do work for the rest of the family until the Cambridge kids were able to stand in the spotlight. So that's just my opinion. That's the way I see it. I believe that to be true. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, thank you for that. That was brilliant. Anything the queen wants her other children or grandchildren to have, she better put it to them now. I'm sorry, leave it to them now. Prince Charles is blocking Prince Edward from Prince Philip's title. Yeah, the Duke of Windsor, right? And so, because of that, I think that, you know, well, some people said that when Edward was at the cenotaph that he was wearing Philip's coat. I don't know that to be true. It seemed like it would make sense, but I don't know if there was much of a height difference between Philip and Edward. I don't think I've ever seen them standing close to each other. If I have, I didn't notice. But yeah, so this was supposedly Philip's coat, but Philip really wasn't that tall, you know, especially like in his latter years, he kind of shrunk a bit. So I think that Edward is just a little saucy, you know what I mean? Edward likes to be a little risque, if you catch my drift. And Edward decided that he would wear a maxi. Edward decided that he would, you know, come on out and wear a maxi in public so that that he could, you know, I guess assert his authority the only way he knows how. And and that's why when I heard that some woman fell at the cenotaph, I wasn't sure. I thought, Edward, Edward, only to find out that it was, you know, some other person. I thought he had tripped over that incredible maxi coat that he was wearing, and so when I heard that, I was like, Edward, but no, it wasn't Edward. It was actually some poor woman that just I don't know, passed out or something like that. It wasn't her, him, her, him. Yeah, it wasn't him. Um, or her, not these ladies either. So Back to the Rottweiler. Oh my goodness. So here it seems to be a big laugh. It is so jolly. It is so jolly. I have some little thoughts in my head of what the big joke could be. But might be better if I keep that to myself. But they all seem to get along so jolly. I mean, even there, the queen is just like woofing it up with them and everything. Um, at this point in time, I think it was still just a little bit too soon for the queen and um, Camilla to be like that close to each other. But eventually they got there. They got there somehow. They they coerced the queen into coming up with that statement saying that that's the way it's going to be. So and so let it be written, so let it be done, as they say in the Ten Commandments. It's unfortunate. It's very sad that um because we're not going to stop thinking about Diana. That's just the whole point. We're not going to stop thinking about Diana. And whatever is said or done is always going to take us back to um, the days when Diana was really crying out for help, and there was just nobody there for her. Least of all, nobody in that archaic institution. So let's see. She is not going to forgive, or she is worried about what Prince Harry is writing in his book about her. Now, Beverly McCaskill, I from time to time, I forget that book is coming. I forget about it. And then someone says something like you've just said, and then it's just like, uh-huh, uh-huh. That is something to look forward to. And also, you guys, I'm not sure how I can share that interview with you, but the person accused the American woman who seemed to be um, a little bit too much pro Team Diana. She said, "Gosh, you sound like you just left the Oprah Winfrey interview or just finished watching the Oprah Winfrey interview or something to that effect, where she had to bring up Oprah and the Sussex's interview with Oprah." So yeah, there's that, but no, that's not the case. It's purely Diana. But you know what, guys? It hasn't been all rough and rocky road. Did I just say rough? It hasn't been a rough and rocky road. I have to be careful when I say certain things about Camilla. Anyway, it hasn't been all a rough and rocky road. Um, there was that one time that I know of, and this is just in such bad taste, but I'm going to do it anyway, that Camilla may have actually have been the pretty one. Can you believe that? She at one point was the pretty one. I know this. I'll just show you. There was that one time when I can say, okay, Camilla may have had the ups on somebody close to her. That just that one time. That is the Duchess of Alba. And people say she may have had some work done. I'm not sure. But one thing I'll say about the Duchess of Alba, she had more titles than Queen Elizabeth. She holds the Guinness Book of Record for royal titles. And she also was just a fun, classy lady who didn't take herself too serious. So, yeah, that was the one time that Camilla may have come across as being the gosh, I can't even form the words with my mouth, but let me try. The the uh, the, the pretty one. Okay, there I said it. Oh, I think I just threw up in my mouth. Uh, Karen Show saying Meghan could learn something from Camilla. Meghan can learn something from Camilla. First of all, Meghan is not a home wrecker. Meghan is not a home wrecker. Meghan didn't befriend some naive young girl from an aristocratic family who was confirmed by royal physicians to have been, shall we say, pure. Meghan didn't corrupt somebody like that. So I don't see the connection. But yeah, so that was the one time there where Camilla had a chance to shine. Those days are long gone. You'll be amazed at some of the stuff I say. So this is where it all started. That's what is it? I always mess her name up. Edith Keppel. This is Camilla's great grandmother, something like that. She managed to woo King, what was it, Edward? Was it Edward? Or one of the kings? Edward the Seventh? Edward the Sixth. Anyway, George the Sixth or Seventh. One of those guys. She managed to woo one of the kings before. And so, as you can see, being a little, you know what, runs in the family. And the only thing I can say is, I think that Edwardian lady on the left there is actually quite lovely, but she's still well, she wasn't really a home wrecker, but she was allowed to be at the king's side when he died. So I want to say it was Alexandra was the one who had to sit back and take this. Charlotte, welcome to the live chat. Let me see. Camilla is a hypocrite, and Meghan, and it made Meghan miserable. You're absolutely right. Très bien, Charlotte B. Yep, I understand what you're saying. They're saying Camilla was abused and unliked, and in time the people accepted her, and if Meghan would have just stayed, and eventually they would have left her alone, nobody putting up with that mess. Absolutely, Lydia. They wanted Meghan to stick around and be abused. That's just not going to fly. It's not worth forfeiting your soul just for all that stuff. I don't think Meghan cared about those titles at all. None of that stuff. Meghan fell in love, and the big benefit of the relationship with Harry is that they had an opportunity to work together. And how nice is that to be in love with somebody and have a working relationship with them when it comes to things like charity and philanthropy and worthy causes. How great is that to have an opportunity to not only be in love with someone, but to have an opportunity to work with them? That was like the big benefit on the side, is that they fell in love and they could work together. I mean, who doesn't want that? Someone that you don't mind spending that type of time with them, and that you can work and grow and nurture one another and start a family. It was everything. All the ingredients was there, but the only thing that they couldn't count on was the hostility from Harry's family, who he was naive enough to believe would be very supportive of him with his new wife. I mean, after all, he's done so much. He's paid a heavy price. He lost his mother. You would think that would have been enough. Okay, you've had your pound of flesh. I'm in love. I like her. She chooses me. And we're going to do this. And I'm going to have my chance at happiness. Nope. No. That wasn't meant to be. Not according to the Windsor Playbook. You don't have a right to happiness. You are supposed to kiss up to your older brother because he was born before you. Therefore, he can run faster. He can jump higher. He can argue the best case. He's highly capable of so many things. He married the most brilliant woman who's ever lived, Dr. Joyce Jazzhands. I mean, they're so close that even he is starting to use his hands. So don't you see, Harry? You're supposed to defer to your genius older brother who is the helicopter hopping private jet flying hypocrite on the environment. That's the one that you're supposed to cater to. And Harry just saw things differently. That's it. Cut, print, edit. End of story. Okay, let me go to some of your comments. Charles and Camilla may be more related than we think. It is rumored that Camilla's gran had a daughter with him. Uh, I love it. I love it. That's just messy. Even I didn't go there. Seeing someone as attractive and successful with a beautiful personality like Meghan triggered that ugly crowd. How dare she come in with her good looks, her work ethic, and have a wonderful personality? Deanna C, absolutely. How dare she? How dare she show up and work hard and just happen to look amazing doing it? How dare she do that? Um, I guess it was all just too much for them to take, and they decided to react badly to her intrusion into that freaky looking puppet show called the Royal Family. I mean, yeah, before Diana and before Meghan, it was just like a parade of freaky looking hand puppets all lined up on the there's a few times that I've seen the royals out on the balcony. I thought it was the Muppet Show. Okay. Yes, for being black, intelligent American woman. Camilla was abused for being a little Debbie. And that too. Yes, it isn't the same. No, it is not. They didn't care. That's why they were broken up in their earlier years, and now no chance of procrastination. Yep. Let me see. Well, let me see here. Okay, so take a look at this, you guys. Take a look at this. Now, as you can see in the upper left, that is the proper position for the appearance at the cenotaph, especially if you want to be there early enough. So just in case, some woman trips over her maxi or something like that. If you want to be there early enough to see if somebody trip over their maxi, Edward, Edward. Um, I'm just kidding about that. But take a look there. You can see on the left side at the top, there's Camilla, the future Queen Consort, in her proper position. And then that other photo, I don't know what year that's from, but boy, don't they just look. Oh, I mean, look at them together. The two of them are just the biggest manipulators. You got a Ford Fiesta on the right, and there is Duchess Doolittle. And I'm guessing from that smirk on her face, that very sly look, she may. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know this to be true, but I'm just saying she's probably saying, "Uh-huh, I'm gonna end up in the center next year. Watch and see." So if you look at the bottom right photo, there she is. Why is Camilla on the left side and Duchess Doolittle, who's cosplaying Meghan, why is Duchess Doolittle in the middle? That's not proper. That's not proper. And then you can see a very stony face um, Ford Fiesta on the right side of the thing there. She doesn't have her co-conspirator next to her. So, and Camilla's looking awfully glum, having been pushed over to the peripherique, as they say in French. Right, Charlotte? The peripherique. She's on the outer limits. Not her proper place at the cenotaph. But anyway, it doesn't matter where you stand, because if somebody trips over their maxi, you're still you're still gonna have a good view of it. So you don't have to get there early. Edward? Edward? Okay. So oh ooh. I tell you, my nose is running. I'm having such a good laugh with this one. But whatever happens, I don't suspect Charles is going to be king for a long time. I mean, I'm not even sure who's going to be hearing Gabriel's trumpet first, but um, I haven't ruled out the fact that the Queen might outlive the both of them. Okay, um, that's just the fact. Charles is as red as a beet for whatever reason, and then, as we know, Camilla. Well, Camilla. Um, some creatures, you know, like for instance, some people who have been known as best in show, there's human years and then there's dog years. Okay, that's all I say. So, oh my goodness, you guys, please do not encourage me. Okay, please. I'm trying to maintain a certain bit of decorum. I'm doing my best to, be objective and engaged at the same time. So please do not encourage me, Church Nelly and company. Um, uh, yeah, Camilla, and not just Camilla, but for her children too. Amy Andrews. If Charles goes first, then Camilla is going to, yeah, she just needs for him to outlive her. Because if he goes first, then life's going to be very difficult for her. And I think by default, life may be equally difficult for her children. Because I don't think that there's many images of Camilla's children. Like, for instance, you don't see the Camilla and company of children at events at the rate that you see the Middletons, right? Carol's all up in it, right? Carol's all up in it. After all, she is a royal Carol. So Carol and company seems to be everywhere. As a matter of fact, I haven't figured out what title Carol's going to get. But they'll come up with something clever and handy and something that she could obviously make some money with it. But as for Camilla and her children, I don't recall seeing them at too many of the events with the royal family. Like, for instance, have they ever been on the balcony before? Have they ever been on the balcony? So, yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Let me, if Charles goes first, Camilla will go back to the barn. I can see you guys have certain feelings about this situation. And while I'm enjoying this, I'm trying to maintain a certain level of decorum and respectability. Oh boy. So Camilla will inherit what he leaves in his will. And since she knows all of Charles' deep, dark secrets, I'm sure he'll leave her well taken care of. Yeah. I'm sure there'll be someone there to groom her and to change her shoes and stuff like that. So, Wilbur, I'm sure she'll do okay. Oh, on the day Charles' coronation, all of the TV channels should show Princess Diana's interview. Oh, Sawboss TV, please make that so. Please make it so. I will chip in $20 on that one. I will gladly slip somebody $20 if I thought that would help. Cannot be Queen Mother. She is not a blue blood, but Charles can give the Middleton family titles when he is king. Royalty Truth, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but I just feel like there is going to be some campaign of some sort to come up with that clever name for her. No, she's not a blue blood. She acts like she's one, but no, she's not a blue blood. But the rules are what they make it. And I think by then they're going to try to whip up some kind of frenzy of sentimentality. I'm probably wrong, but I'm just saying I won't be surprised if they try to call her the Queen Mother. And I don't think she's going to protest, because if there's anything marketable, like the Queen Mother party favors or something like that, I'm sure she'll take advantage of it. I mean, I'm just, being outrageous, but I'm not ruling it out either. No respect for the home wrecker. Let me see. They do not, I mean, they do a lot of damage to multiple people for what? Self gain. Yeah. Yeah. I think, now this is what I've heard before, is that one of the selling points for Charles to Camilla and vice versa is that there was that past relationship between Camilla's great, 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 great grandmother or whatever with the king. And so for that reason, I think that it was like a big selling point for their relationship. Now you can see the king pictured there on the left of Edith Keppel. And then the photo that you see to the left of that is a side by side of Camilla channeling Princess Diana. You see that? And I don't want to believe that Camilla is wearing a piece of jewelry that was once worn by Diana. I don't want to believe that. I'm not sure that isn't the case, but I just don't want to believe that that is actually the same, pearl choker that, because Princess Diana, she wore jewels. They said she didn't mind mixing costume jewelry with the real stuff. She wasn't afraid of uh, wearing the royal jewels. But I think the big difference is that Princess Diana's jewelry would usually come from, say, a boutique or something like that, or the royal collection, whereas Camilla's jewelry may have come from Petco. Okay, that was terrible. Um, oh, I don't know how I got this far by in this podcast by trying to hold it together, but I'm trying to hold this together. So that one slipped. uh, Chemical reaction to light emissions. Detail of the meaning comes from the biological handbook. Thank you, Lil Rock. Lil Rock, you are just one of the most intelligent people. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Um, I almost got there. I almost got there. Again, that was not proper, and I can't take it back. I won't take it back. But yes, that's the difference between the jewels, is that it's just where they source them from. So, oh, I told you that they're having a jolly good time, the two of them. Now, this is the worst thing that could happen. I'm not encouraging anything, but this is the worst thing that could happen. You see that? Now, there was a night at the opera or some hoity toity event, and I believe one of the Royal Protections officers had told Charles and Camilla, that it's a bad idea. We should take a different route to the event. Well, they didn't take a different route. I'm sorry, route. They decided to go Charles's way, which of course was based on years and years, 1,000 years of breeding and so that's what they did, 1,000 years of breeding and all. And so what did they do? They walked right into a middle of a protest. And you would think that they would be like, oh no, that is the Prince Charles and Duchess of Cornwall. We better stand back. No, they didn't stand back. They hurled eggs and paint, and as you can see, one of the windows were broken. It was a terrifying event. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you is I'm just making it very clear that this whole thing about Camilla will be queen is going to, I guess, unearth a whole lot of bad feelings, and that he's not helping her. That's the whole point, is he's not being very helpful to her. They shouldn't have said anything. Just let things happen. This is what's so stupid. Wait until the queen is gone to her glory, and then just let things happen organically. At that time, people will be in a state of shock and mourning. They will be heartbroken. They will be in quite a state, and they why is it hard for me to say that? Anyway, they're going to be in shock and such, and that's when you're supposed to introduce Camilla. Oh, by the way, she's a queen consort. Why would you say it now? Why would you say it now when there's massive inflation? People can barely heat their homes, and we ain't forgot about Diana. That's how stupid they are. That's stupid. Why would you do that now? Why would you just stick it in people's face like that, um, instead of waiting? I don't understand what the hurry is. That was stupid. So, some of these things are best left alone until it's absolutely necessary. But instead, with all of those years of breeding and 1,000 years of the monarchy, they decided that they would introduce her now. Big mistake, Chuck. Big mistake. You just chucked up, Chuck. You chucked it. So if I was them, I would have just said nothing and waited. I mean, what difference does it make whether you introduce her now or you just let things happen? That's what I don't get. That's just so stupid. Anyway, believe me, I ain't trying to help them. I'm just saying what makes sense. That what this whole thing right now is just illogical. I mean, let me see. Their refusal to give Harry and his children security that he pays for proves that the slim down monarchy shouldn't mean that Archie and Lily can't have titles. Exactly. And they floated it out there, which means that the kids won't have titles. That's why they mentioned it at that time, is because they don't mean for the children to have titles. They mean to do exactly what they said they're going to do. They're going to have a slim down monarchy. And as you know, Prince Charles doesn't have much compassion for the women in his life, and he doesn't seem to care about his own children. He leaves everybody vulnerable and exposed, and he has like a long history of that. So it doesn't matter what it looks like. Is It just is what it is. That's what makes the difference. So anyway, let me go on to the next slide. Um, well, I'm glad everybody has some very passionate feelings about all of this stuff, because I wasn't sure before, if this was going to be a good idea, but I see you guys are kind of into it, so we get a chance to say what we're feeling. People, I strongly they testing the waters to see how the public will react towards Camilla. I just believe Will and Kate will ascend the throne. They're playing with the emotions of the public. Simply Vigo. I you know, one of the things that I've said for quite some time is that I think that Charles may have something very, very embarrassing. He may have been found wanting in his character in the worst possible way, and that they may use that as some type of leverage. These are some more photos of that attack on the um, Rolls Royce that night. Um, I mean, they were in danger. They were in danger. Now, I pity the fool. I really do pity the fool that would have thought it wise to try to reach inside the car and grab Camilla. I do. I pity the fool. That's not a good idea. You don't just reach in the car and grab Camilla. You don't want to reach in that car and grab her. I pity the fool. That would have been a bad decision to reach in that car and grab her. Because if she would have chomped down on somebody, they would have been in a heap of trouble. So that was probably a bad idea. It's okay to throw stuff. Well, that's not okay. You know, we're not supposed to throw things at people. But I would just say for your own safety that if you were compelled to do something like that, whatever you do, don't reach in the back of that car. You better not reach in the back of that car. You don't want to reach in that car. Don't stick your hand in that window because you might draw back a nub. So I'm just saying, things can go terribly wrong for you if you stick your hand in that back seat. I mean, she's not just there for emotional support; she's also there for protection. Oh God, help me. Okay, so okay, so um, this story is one that I made a video about this too. I've done two Camilla videos, and I'll put those in the community tab. So if you guys are interested in watching, this one had to do with Camilla's garden. That is like the funniest video. That's the one that I love to go back and watch again and again. Was Camilla's garden. This whole ridiculous story about how upset she was that she tells how mice and voles devoured her strawberries and ate and ate the asparagus roots that she planted. So, okay, that's all well and good, but as you know, the way that Camilla and Charles have their little naughty talk, I can never be sure if they're referring to the garden or if there's some kind of double entendre going on. I just don't know. So when you hear them say that the Duchess of Rothsay tells how mice and voles devoured her strawberries and ate the asparagus roots she planted, I don't know. I don't know. You never know with those two because they're weird like that. So, how do you know what they're talking about? You know, I mean, they're into some weird, kinky stuff. So, by the way, the Sphinx is in the background. That's Camilla up front. You never know what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So when they say that something's been munching at the Woo! Okay, that's enough of that. Anyway, well, thank you for that, Saw Boss. That was so much fun making that video. I literally wept and cried. And I know there's a certain point where I said, I'll be back. I literally had to walk away and, like, get myself together and come back. That was, I literally had tears in my eyes. Okay. Harry must have come to realize that once Willie is king and his family would be treated like Andy and his two daughters, total control of household housing, titles, and money. Yeah, Rochelle, absolutely. That's why I say I'm so glad that they left, because it would have been a disaster if they would have stayed. It would have been a complete disaster. So because William is very arrogant and very entitled, and it would have just made life difficult for them. So I still haven't figured out what that patchy garment is that she has on. If you guys can figure out what's going on there, I would appreciate it. It is it's that look that you just cannot unsee. But okay. And then there's this. So one night I was having some fun at the expense of, Charles and his emotional support, Camilla. And so from that point, I decided to take a little license with their images. Instead of the Scarecrow and Mrs. King, for those of you who don't know, that was like a television show years ago. I decided that I would have a little fun and do this: the Scarecrow and Mr. King. Which do you prefer, this or this? I sound like an optometrist, don't I? This one or this one? A or B? I know that was a lot of fun, but I couldn't do any. It would have been too much trouble to try to make the hands look, more authentically Camilla's. So okay, and of course there was that time when I saw the movie 10, and I thought, now I could see Camilla cast in that movie. I could see that Camilla would be a perfect. Okay. Anyway, she could have been in that movie. I mean, we have to be more open-minded, and more, and we have to embrace, a variety of people in this world, because it takes all kind of people to make this world. So I'm just saying, we have to be a bit open-minded. I mean, just open up your mind and consider the possibilities. No? Okay, next. And then there was this headline. See how they're trying to big Camilla up? See how they're trying to big her up? Duchess Camilla wows in waist cinch dress and over knee boots for new appearance. Somebody saw her and went, wow. Is that really what happened? Did that really happen? That somebody saw her and went, wow? I mean, they just make up stuff, don't they? They just make up things. There's no limit to how creative that they have been with the Duchess of Cornwall. People wowed. Did they really? Oh, I mean, come on, y'all. They wowed. And then there was this. And by the way, as much as I don't want to hear about Camilla being part of the Order of the Garter, because I just don't want to hear Garter and Camilla in the same conversation, please don't tell me anything about her wearing knee-high boots. Please don't tell me about her wearing boots that come over her knees. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to be privileged to that type of information. I just don't want it. Okay? I don't want it. So that's another little faux pas that has been committed in the name of trying to sell Camilla to the public. And they just keep doing it. Oh boy. Well, did I have anything else? Well, yeah, it was that. I thought this was very disrespectful, but in spite of everything, I'm sure that the Bidens will treat her with respect if for some reason there's a coronation and probably Jill Biden will attend or whatever. But if that is the case, I'm sure they're going to be very respectful to the future consort, even though she went around telling everybody that Joe Biden had a bad case of the vapors. That was in very poor taste. And the palace did not, or Clarence House, nobody decided that it was worth showing some respect to Joe Biden by retracting that. So they just let it stand. It went on unchallenged. So yeah, that was really in poor taste. They should have been more respectful to Joe Biden. Okay, well that's it for those slides. Let me see some of your thoughts. I have been going on and on, haven't I? We had about 800 and something people, but I lost some people somewhere. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Uh, was it something I said? Huh? Cheers. Was it something I said? Possibly. Okay. Let me see. You say they tried to up the whole lot of them, which tells me that they are not as popular as they want us to believe. Yeah, and like Nina Miskow said about Kate, the fact that they just keep trying to uplift and convince people that she's been like the best thing to happen to that family since Diana. And then there was even that weird story where somebody compared Kate to Princess Grace of Monaco. And when they say Princess Grace of Monaco, that means they're trying desperately not to say Princess Diana. So they said that she's like the new Princess Grace. Princess Grace was talented. Princess Grace was an extrovert, an excellent speaker. Princess Grace was able to uplift to what she did something with the Red Cross, which is like one of the biggest honors that you can have in Monaco for a princess, is to take the reins of the Red Cross function there, to the likes of which it is like one of the biggest events on the calendar and raise tons of money. That's what Princess Grace was able to do. This is nobody's Princess Grace. Could you imagine her trying to raise money for something? I mean, all these years, you've never heard of mediocre Middleton ever raising a huge sum of money. Ever. You've just never heard it before. There has not been one single event that I can think of where a lot of good has been done because of this couple. Nothing. Not a thing. If you can think of something, please correct me because I don't know of it. I don't know of it. And that's not to say it's not true because I haven't heard it before, but I don't know of it. I don't know of any like big project or big anything that they've been able to do. And to show you how cruel that family can be, the fact that they know this to be true and nobody is giving them any guidance to make them better at the little bit of work that they do. Nobody cares that they look like failures. The only people that's helping them is the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Those are the people that's trying to help them. Other than that, they have been pretty much left to their own devices, and that's why things don't work out so well for them. Is because they believe that the people surrounding them are doing a great job. Well, instead of actually getting control of the Sussex's popularity, the only thing that they have done was they have succeeded in running Sussexes out of the country and making them even more popular and, dare I say, financially independent. That's the only thing that they've done is they did take a bad situation and make it much better, incredibly better. So, okay. All right. I know, Gloria. It why would they put that in words? I mean, what if somebody was eating when they read that, right? It's like Camilla to receive Order of the Garter. There's no way you can say that it doesn't sound weird. I don't want to think about that. Kate did all that hard work for the Queen to tell the world Camilla will be Queen Consort once again. Kate failed. Yeah, that big campaign for Kate, the huge campaign that they just had, that they were trying to put Kate front and center, that huge campaign has turned into a big fat nothing burger. That was just a waste of time for Kate and for the co-conspirators at the Kensington Palace. That really was a waste of time for them because now they will have nothing to show for it. They will have so little to show for it that it's not even it's not even worth their trouble because they're going to have so little to show for it. I wonder how Jazz Hands and her Middleton family will feel now. Well, I mean, they had the Royal Carol. They have introduced them on the world stage at the Royal Carol. Yeah, the Middletons still have to wait for wait for a long time. Yeah, before they start measuring for new drapes at the Windsor Castle, it's going to take some time before they are actually able to move in. But move in they will. Eventually they'll get there. And I'm very sure that the Mama Middleton, I'm pretty sure that she is going to do everything that she can to make it possible sooner rather than later. Because remember, she's 67 years old now. And if Charles is on the throne for 20 years, then she's going to be that much older by the time she pushes that little airline trolley cart full of beverages down the aisles of Westminster Abbey. I don't think she wants to risk that. Till they go on their tour, another big fail waiting for them. Charles is playing the Cambridges because they are a bit dense and no strategic skills, proper stupid. Yeah, like I just said, what they've done at Kensington Palace is going to fail. And what they're trying to do to and maybe Charles was waiting to play this hand for a long time with this Camilla is the Queen Consort. Excuse me. Maybe he's been waiting to play this card for quite some time, and the time has come. So now, excuse me, now that it's obvious and everybody has to play along, then I don't know that William has any cards left to play. I don't know that he has anything left at this point. And the Queen, of course, the Queen looked very frail at that most recent event. Not that I'm trying to put jinx on or anything like that, but the Queen did look incredibly frail. I mean, frighteningly frail. And where that's concerned, the Queen has said that this is the way things are going to be. This is the future of the monarchy, and that's her wish, and she expects everyone to abide by the words that she had on that statement that I hope you will show my son and his wife, in so many words, as much support as you've shown me. So I don't know what else that could possibly mean. This is a nightmare. I'm trying to bring up another slide If I can't bring up this other slide, then I'm going to have to do it manually, I think. I mean, no big deal, but I'm trying to make this work. Okay, let me try this one more time. If not, I'll have to do it the old way. Yep, not working. Huh. Okay. My computer is being a little iffy right now. So, let me do this. This might take a minute, but in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us on Royal Sussex. And let's see. Well, I'm going to change gears a little bit. I've had enough of Camilla, but we can still, like, have some fun. Oh, my computer is hot. That's why everything is slowing down, because once these things get hot, then okay. Okay, let me see here. Not sure this is exactly what I was looking for, but I'm going to try it anyway. Okay, this is it. So, over the weekend, they had nothing else better to do. Now, look at this story. May 1st, 2019, strong smell of some chemical in Montecito near whatever. So, no big surprise. There's some kind of smell in Montecito. Okay. And then this one, Prince Harry and Meghan's Montecito mansion engulfed by stomach churning smell. Local officials say the problem from nearby bird refuge is likely to continue until improvements works are completed this autumn. Okay. Still nothing to do with Meghan and Harry. And then this is an old story that was what is the date? Something in Californian air. Huge cannabis farm near Duke and Duchess of Sussex Montecito home sparks fury amongst locals, including one who claims the smell affected his driving. Farm near Harry and Meghan's 11 million pound Montecito home. Oh, it doesn't mention bathrooms. That's a shock. None of this has anything to do with Meghan and Harry. None of it. And the idea that there's been some type of smell near their home on two other occasions, a chemical smell, this one from a bird refuge, and then even from the Daily Mail back in August 2021, this one happens to have been from, a pot farm, for lack of a better word. None of this has anything to do with the Sussexes. Nothing. Not that that has ever stopped anybody from trying to hitch their wagon to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to make some kind of ridiculous point about something that has absolutely nothing to do with them. But they try it anyway, and they'll, they use it for clickbait, and we all know that. So, if you ask me, the smell is probably somebody from Lord Nappyhead's newspaper. that smell in the air, that's Lord Nappyhead's newspaper, probably sniffing around trying to find some type of story. And if it's not from him, then it's some other royal rodent that is probably causing that sickening, stomach churning stench in the air. You know, pick or choose. Any of them are equally capable of creating some type of rancid condition that would turn someone's stomach. So, yeah, that's a possibility. It is California, and there's a lot of people who may have need of glaucoma or arthritis medication. Sure, Josephine. Smell is coming from. Maybe it's that hoghead Pierce Morgan. Who knows? Is it H&M's property? No, they just want to use Harry and Meghan to get money. Absolutely, it has nothing to do with them. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? I was going to mention that. That's included in the slides that I'm having trouble bringing up. But yeah, let me see if I can do this another kind of way. But yeah, my slide is not working. I cannot believe this. Okay. Nope, that's not going to work. But yeah, the silence. Okay. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Glenda Belot, thank you so much for the super sticker. Gosh, I hope I haven't missed any others because I have been on quite a chatter. Okay, I don't think I missed any, but thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Let me see. They are trying to sell papers using Harry and Meghan. Sure they are. Absolutely. And Mary Mann, happy Monday to you. The Hunger Games will continue for some time between Chucky and Son, as there is no honor among thieves. The Sussexes saw the light at the end of the tunnel and fell that den of inequity. Yes, absolutely. They got the heck out of there. Raven, you say, are they sure it's not the Rancids? They keep blowing up people's. Okay. I have to be careful. I don't want to lose my monetization. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me go a little further down here. 30 more years, that is definitely a possibility. I mean, I'm sure with all of his organic food from his own garden, let's hope it's not from Camilla's garden, but I'm okay. I'm not going to start that again. But he has a lot of organic food that he eats from his own garden, even though they say that the mice and the voles are eating the roots. So yeah, he'll probably live a long time, which means that there's an excellent chance that somebody will be probably way too weak and overserved to make it down the aisles of Westminster Abbey with her cart full of beverages that she plans to sell at the coronation. So yeah, that's bad. Okay, so let me see. Only time wasters will have time for her son and his wife. They're no good to man or beast. Well, thank you for putting that in uppercase letters. See how much easier that was on these old, gnarly, bloodshot eyes of mine? Okay. Bit confused. Why do you use their clickbaits as your subject lines regarding Montecito? I believe they can go against or defeat the good you are attempting to accomplish. Because it's Royal Sussex, I'm not sure what to say about that one. Okay, Sharon Davis, I've made that drive a few times. I know you have your arthritis medication. Yeah, some told me not to read that one out loud. Well, yeah, you know, his hands are all puffy and stuff, and I'm not sure what that means. You know, there's a lot of I mean, let's face it, Philip and Elizabeth were cousins, okay? So there's a possibility that that kind of garden gnome look that Charles has may come from the closeness in their bloodline, if that's not too much. I mean, he does kind of look like a garden gnome, doesn't he? So, yeah, maybe there's a chance that that kind of garden gnome look that he has is because his parents were so close, to pull it delicately. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm trying to say. And so maybe that's why he just has that weird kind of look about himself. I don't know. I'm just saying. Okay. I need to go the other way. That's what it is. Okay, I can't say that, but I can read it. At least not the first part. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for the super sticker. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Miss Kathy. Not everyone is against Charles and Meghan. I'm sorry, against Harry and Meghan. Ugh, that was a slip. Let me get his face off the screen. Okay. Not everyone is against Harry and Meghan. I love both of them. I am Scottish and get upset to read that people think that we are all bad people. Good evening. Dorothy Ross, let me tell you, I have been to Edinburgh and Glasgow and Cumnock, and I have to say that the warmest people that I met when I was using my rail pass was when I went to Scotland. That was like, of course, when I went to Glasgow, I couldn't understand everybody so well, but there was a few times where I would catch the first two words and I'd be like, "What?" But I have to tell you, everybody was very warm and friendly and thoughtful. And if I ever go back to the UK again, I will definitely start my trip in Edinburgh. That was my dream, was to go to Edinburgh, and it was lovely, and the people were lovely, and I ate so many shortbread cookies. I purchased my first, what do you call it, tartan. I purchased a scarf that I still have today. So I have to say, I never look at Scotland and look at Scotland as though people up there have it in for the Sussexes. Never, not one single person. But thank you for sharing that. Okay. Who is Prince Andrew's father? Now I'm not going to get into that. I don't know. I don't know. But I think that it's in the eyes. It's in the eyes. Now that is something that is so different from everybody else in the family. Those eyes, they're practically hypnotic. So that's how you can trace that bloodline. If you can find anybody else who has those eyes, then I think you'll get close to the root of the matter. All you have to do is trace those eyes. And those eyes, that is like a genetic trait that has been passed down for generations. So I'm pretty sure that if you follow those eyes, then you will, figure out which bloodline it comes from. So that's my advice. If you're really curious, if you want to do some soul searching, just follow those eyes. They're not easy to miss, so you won't have to look far, but follow the eyes. Everything is in the eyes. Is in the eye. See, and it goes on for generations. So you see what I mean, Vera? You follow me? Follow the eyes. The eyes have it. The eyes have it. If you follow the eyes, you can find the true pedigree, if you will. You can trace the bloodline using the eyes. Oh boy. Today I I've probably said way too much. I should get off here pretty soon. Um but okay. The Queen Mother, Princess Diana, and Kate were allowed to marry into the family to wash out that eyes. Yes. Uh, okay. Gloria, so beautiful. Oh, I went to Cardiff. I only went to Cardiff because Meghan and Harry went to Cardiff. And I went to Edinburgh because I always wanted to go there, but I was doubly happy to go there. And I went to the Cardiff Castle too, if I remember. I went into those same rooms that Harry and Meghan were in when they visited the castle. So there you have it. Yeah, when I went to the UK last time, I made sure that I walked in the footsteps of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. That was like one of the big selling points. Okay. Yes, Church Nelly, I've been to Europe, if that's what the eye roll is about. Do you want me to tell you all about it? Because you know I will. You know I will. I will tell you all about Europe. If you are so inclined to hear it, I will share that story with you. But before I go any further, let me pay much respect to our faves, which include the Queen of Hearts, Princess Diana. Princess Diana is the whole reason why Harry was able to make good his escape from that family. Princess Diana's plans for Harry was for him to have as normal a life as a member of that family could possibly have. And when it comes to that, I think she has done an incredible job. So we always have to send a shout out and a prayer or two for her. And then, of course, for Doria, Doria has also made this transition for Harry possible because Doria has been the I guess the very hidden strength of that union with Harry and Meghan. So thank you, Doria, the queen of everything, because Doria has sacrificed a lot. It could not have been easy for her to witness this horrible stuff playing out over the airways like this, but somehow she managed to survive, and you know the Sussexes are going strong. So we have to give thanks to Doria and Diana every time because I think that's just so important, and it probably took more than we could ever consider. Andrew is the Queen's son, not Lord Porchester. Uh, oh, that's the one that was the horse guy, right? The guy who I guess coached the Queen on horse breeding, or whatever. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, it's I don't mind a good conspiracy theory. I love to have fun with it. And I won't even tell you some of the people that I have listened to on talk radio in the past. I didn't believe a thing that they said, but I kept up with it. That being said, we never know, but I like a good conspiracy theory. So, um, you know, like I never bought the thing about that other guy being Harry's father. That was just vicious rumors, and this is probably the same thing. So, I take all of it with a grain of salt. And with anything that I have said or may have accused anybody of, I wasn't there. I have no privilege to the information. I can only go by the accounts that comes from the media and whatever other source. So that's it. I'm going to be completely honest in that. Okay, so the Sussexes, they were saying that the Sussexes haven't said anything, that there's been radio silence in reference to the Jubilee. Well, I think there's a good reason for that. I'm sure the Sussexes would be more than willing to say a kind word about the Jubilee publicly. But there's some occasions when the royal family may mention things privately to one another and not in a public manner. And this may be one of those occasions. So let us not assume that Harry and Meghan have not sent a kind word to the Queen in regards to the Jubilee. We don't know. Just as I've admitted just now, there's so many things that I have no privilege to the information. I can only go by the news accounts. I will say that that is probably consistent for most people in most situations in regards to that family. So, it is fun to speculate. It's interesting. It literally is a soap opera, but it does have some real life and death applications because there have been people that, that the media has gone too far. And if the Sussexes said something privately and not publicly, maybe there's a good reason for it. Maybe it's going to happen later. Maybe their public acknowledgement will happen later. But just as someone just said, clickbait, clickbait. There's that need for clickbait, which means that there's a need to bring the Sussexes' name into the conversation, whether or not it's necessary. So I think that still applies for that. The very same reason is because of clickbait. So, and then there may be some other reason. I really can't speak to that. But their radio silence should not imply that they don't care or something like that. I think nothing could be further from the truth. But clickbait, that's the name of the game, is clickbait. And plus, I'm pretty sure that the Sussexes would be more than happy to celebrate a Jubilee, but not a Jubbly. I mean, after all, so far, all of the material that has been printed actually says Jubbly and not Jubilee. So when it's time to celebrate the Jubilee, they will, but they're not going to celebrate the Platinum Jubbly, like it says on that, corner of that memorabilia there. I don't celebrate a Jubbly either. You? Okay, that's just silly, I know. I mean, who celebrates a Jubbly? Where is a Jubbly? But I'm not celebrating anybody's Jubbly. And now that I'm over a certain age, I'm not even sure I can still reach my Jubbly. So if I can't reach it, I'm certainly not going to celebrate it. Who can even reach a Jubbly at this age? So, okay, I'm getting a little punchy. I've been on for almost 2 hours. We probably need to get out of here before I lose my mind. But before I slip and fall on my Jubbly, or Jubilee, Jubbly, Jubilee, and then Jubbly. Yeah. Well, I mean, tell me, who celebrates a Jubbly? Oh. Okay, Beverly McCaskill, please reel me in because I'm getting weird. Why, oh, why do these idiots think that they have to know when the Duke and Duchess of Sussex speaks about anything to do with QE2 when they are irrelevant? Also, is she paying for their security? Exactly. Since the Sussexes are so irrelevant, why do they even care? Remember, the first of the year, they weren't even supposed to speak of the Sussexes again. And yet they can't stop talking about them, especially when it comes to the Platinum Jubbly. Now, do you want them to acknowledge the Jubilee or the Jubbly? Make up your mind, Royal Rodents, because I'm more than willing to issue a patent of my own in reference to the Jubbly, but only if our King Harry says that he's going to do it. Then I will celebrate the Jubbly. Well, when the time comes, Lydia, I'm sure that you will join me in celebrating the Platinum Jubbly. We're all going to celebrate together. We're going to hold hands and celebrate the Queen's 70th platinum jubilee. Oh, I got to stop saying that. Okay. So I think that I have covered everything. Um, yeah, let's see. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I can't say it enough. Huge congratulations to Miss BSN. Did I say that right? Let me see. Um, Again, you guys, make sure you go and watch the conversation with Tina and Michelle. That's on the her Sussex Saturday podcast. So yeah, do make sure you go and watch that. You can find a link to it in the community tab. Yes, I'm tired of getting gaslighted too. Me too. Plus, all that light can do something to your eyes. So all that gaslighting. Let me see. Okay. Well, you guys, I think I should go. It's been fun. I stayed on here way longer than I was expecting. Oh, okay. Jubbly. Okay. I never heard that word before, but okay. That was jubbly good of you. Uh, Next. Okay. They want them there, but courtiers and FF King. Okay. Have objected to their presence, but the hypocrite rodents have secret mixed feelings. They wish they will be there to click for cash. Yeah, no doubt. Okay. Really? Okay. Okay. Well, I've learned something. Okay. Got it. Got it. Okay, so who wants the last word for the day? Julia Rock? I'm having a bad influence on you, and I want you to please, please forget about today's conversation. Oh, Sharon Davis, I'm glad you were here. Thank you so much for being a part of Royal Sussex. Okay. Now, the last word, I kind of hope is something that's not complimentary to me because you guys being here is all the compliment I need. Yes, that is true, Sherry. That is coming up next. So, yeah, I guess we can move the party over there. I got some stuff to do, so I probably won't be there, but I'll probably be trying to find my my platinum jubbly. I'm probably trying to find my platinum jubbly. That's what I'm gonna do. So if I'm not over there with you guys, I'll be, I'll be over here trying to find my platinum jubbly. Oh, well, the good thing is that if it is platinum, you could always get more for it if you ever had to sell it. Ooh. If you ever had to sell your jubbly, you'll get way more for it if it's platinum. Than, than if it's paper or cotton or something like that. You want to use to try to sell a platinum jubbly because you're gonna get more for it. I mean, I could just see, I could just see my platinum jubbly coming up for auction on the Antique Roadshow, or it's some car boot sale or flea market or something. And then someone say, "How much do you think that platinum Jubbly is worth?" Um, oh, I had no idea. I would never sell it, but that's what they all say on Antique Roadshow, isn't it? There's sometimes you see somebody who comes in there older than the Queen Mother, trying to sell. I mean, trying to get a price on like a grandfather clock or something. And he goes, "I'll never sell it." Girl, you better sell it and do it fast because you ain't got much longer. You might as well sell it. Yeah, I love when like the oldest people in creation go on the Antique Roadshow and bring out something worth $1 million and say, "Oh, I would never sell it." Why? You could go on holiday with that money. But anyway, so I'm gonna go, you guys, so I can go polish my platinum Jubbly, so I can have it ready for auction. Woo! Oh my goodness. And you know what? Um, let me see. I'm looking for one good last. There we are. Thank you so much, Sonia, from saving me from myself. Remember, Squatty, no bad jubbly, energy. No bad energy. Oh, okay, you guys. Thank you for today. Thank you for joining us on Royal Sussex. Okay, I gotta go. Thank you. Love you all.